Welcome back everyone, and welcome to our new subscribers. Today we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, guys. Diabetes and dessert. You know, dessert's the elephant in the room, and it's the big question mark when it comes to, us diabetics enjoying our lives, right? Like normal people. And the idea is, yes, you can. We don't say no on this channel. We say, yes, you can. But there's a way to do it. So let's talk about that. Let me do the quick disclaimer. Although I do have a medical background, this is not a medical channel, guys. This channel shares my diabetic journey and how I was able to reverse my diabetes diagnosis using common sense with trial and error, so you don't have to make the same mistakes as I have, and hopefully you'll be able to reverse your diabetes diagnosis as well. So let's get started. Diabetes and dessert. Yes, you can. Talk about the elephant in the room today. Many individuals hold the belief that diabetes diagnosis automatically means desserts are a thing of the past, off limits. Not on this channel, guys. However, this does not necessarily have to be the case. With the right mindset strategies, people with diabetes can still incorporate small portions of sweets into a balanced and health-conscious diet. Today, we will discuss insights on how to enjoy desserts even with diabetes. Isn't that great, guys? We're actually, someone's addressing the elephant in the room. I know other people talk about it, but they talk about it from a medical perspective. We'll go over some common sense things, some background, and, we'll go over how I do it. So the process of limiting carbohydrate intake, including desserts, can be a challenging one for those of us managing diabetes. However, with some guidance and tips, it can become a less daunting task to navigate the world of sweets while keeping glucose levels in check. And by the way, if I haven't introduced myself in a couple videos, my name is Mr. A1C. To those new subscribers and those guests that are just watching the video. In the following discussion, I'll share some strategies to help you better enjoy desserts, even with diabetes as part of your life. Like it's my life, same thing. So start the process of determining your optimal daily carb consumption by calculating your carb intake. So as all diabetics, we should always be cognizant of the amount of carbs we're eating and the quality of the carbs we're eating, but what's important is to calculate the carb intake. How many carbs a day does your registered dietitian or your doctor recommend for you based on your weight and your blood sugar and how sensitive you are to certain things? That's very important. So when it comes to managing diabetes, being aware of the number of carbohydrates in the foods you consume is essential, particularly when it comes to indulging in desserts. This is because carbohydrates have the most significant impact on blood glucose levels, as you guys already know. By counting carbs, individuals like us with diabetes often find it easier to maintain our glucose levels at a more manageable level. For those who use insulin, counting carbohydrates becomes even more important because it helps determine the appropriate dosage of insulin needed to be taken before your meals. And I'm sure you guys are already aware of all of this information, but I have to still provide it because it's important. So in collaboration with a healthcare professional, many adults with diabetes establish a carb budget, which I just talked about. Your doctor or your registered dietitian will let you know what your carb limits are, or a budget for your carb limit, which refers to the optimal amount of carbohydrates per meal for your body. So this carb limit can vary from person to person, with some people aiming for as few as 30 grams of carbohydrates per meal, while others may target up to 60 grams per meal. It's important to note that a universally applicable standard amount of carbohydrate intake does not exist for everyone with diabetes. So like we talk about, everyone is different. Every human being is different. We all react to things differently. Like some of the suggestions I make are usually tied to food, and they may or may not work for you. They've worked for me, so I want to share them with you guys, no strings attached. And I'm hoping they work for you as well. So by doing so, you can better understand how various carbohydrate amounts affect your blood glucose, ultimately allowing you to enjoy your desserts and other sweet treats in a way that keeps your diabetes management plan on track. And I think that's one of the most important things that I've realized being a diabetic is it's not about being, abstaining from the things that you like to eat. It's about knowing how to eat those things in a little bit different way where you're still able to enjoy being a normal person. Here's a topic we got to talk about. So there are other carbs that you can not have, but you can still pay attention to your blood sugar levels, right? So if you're considering indulging in a dessert, it's essential to be mindful of your carbohydrate intake for the day. So that means for the day, like yesterday was my birthday, and that's the reason we're talking about desserts today. Yesterday was my birthday, and what I had to do yesterday is say, okay, I'm going to have cake today, guys. So I'm going to have to budget my carbs and my calories and everything else, my protein, my macronutrients. I look at it all. And I'm going to have to say, okay, am I going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or am I just going to eat breakfast today? And then the carbs that I would normally have for lunch and the calories for lunch, I'll just include those in my dinner since I'm going to have cake, which is going to throw some of those numbers off. So that's what they're talking about here. So, but milk, although it's a nutritious option, contains lactose, which is a form of sugar. So that's something to know. If you like cake and you like cookies and those kinds of things, people like dipping that stuff in milk, and there's sugar there as well. And it's lactose. Unless you're lactose intolerant, then that's a whole different situation. So it's crucial to factor this in when planning your dessert, right? So furthermore, if you have been experiencing a series of elevated glucose readings, so if you've had some high blood sugar readings, it might be prudent to abstain from desserts temporarily. So what that means is we're not saying no, we're saying take a break. So I do that too. Sometimes I find myself eating too many desserts in a week, and I have to say, look, I'm not going to have desserts for a few days or for a week or so because I need to get my calories and my carbs back where they need to be. So moderation is the key. By doing so, you allow your body some time to regulate the insulin response and stabilize your blood sugar levels, as we just mentioned. When you do decide to enjoy a dessert, it's important to practice portion control, which is your moderation, as we discussed, and limit yourself to 1 serving per day. This will help maintain a healthy balance in your diet and prevent excessive spikes in your blood glucose. By being aware of how different foods affect your body and making the informed choices, you can successfully manage your diabetes while still relishing in your favorite desserts on occasions. Occasion, guys, this is not every day, right? So the things I teach here are things that are to be done in moderation and the use of common sense. These are not things that are going to solve your problem. In other words, if you have, cake every single day, or you have dessert or donuts or whatever every single day, and you apply the techniques that I'm sharing with you, it's not going to work. Trust me, I've tried it. It doesn't work. So there's still common sense involved here and moderation that has to happen. Your body just can't take all of that. Proceed with caution when it comes to eating the low-fat desserts. So you're going to say, well, I'm a diabetic. I'm going to get a low-fat type dessert. It's advertised as low-fat, but there's a caveat. When considering reduced fat, low-fat, or fat-free desserts, it's essential to exercise caution and carefully examine the nutrition label. As we always talk about, the marketing says low-fat, but the real deal is on the back. Read the ingredients on the back. And the first and second ingredients really tells you the majority of what's in that particular item that you're going to eat. Everything else is smaller as you get further down the line on the ingredients list. So the reason for this is that in order to compensate for the removal of fat, which typically lowers the calorie count in that food, manufacturers frequently add sugars to enhance the flavor of these foods. So they're pulling fat out, but to pull the fat out, it's not going to taste right, so they got to put sugar in there. So you have that similar taste to it, and that's not good for us diabetics. This addition of sugars often results in an increased total carbohydrate content. So again, your total carbohydrate content for that particular item that you're going to be eating, that dessert. By being aware of this common practice, you can make more informed decisions about the desserts you choose to consume. So never read the package on the front. Go to the ingredients. Always go to the ingredients to see exactly what's in there. It's important to remember that even though a dessert may be low in fat or fat-free, it can still have a significant impact on your blood glucose levels due to the additional sugars and higher carbohydrate content as a result. In some cases, these desserts may even have a similar, or in some instances, even a higher calorie content than their full fat counterparts. So for someone like me, that's really important because I watch not just my carbohydrate intake or the quality of the carbohydrate, I also watch my macros, I watch, protein, I watch the fat I take in. I watch a lot of things like that, and my fat is usually the good fat, the MUFAs and the PUFAs, the monounsaturated fatty acids and the polyunsaturated fatty acids. So I don't feel guilty about that. Although I do try to contain my total macros into a total calorie content for me for the day, or count for the day. I think it's 2100 is where I'm at right now. I started way before that and I lost a ton of weight, so now I'm at 2100. I think I'm gonna just maintain 2100 calories for the day to stay where I'm at. So this is because the body processes the additional sugars in those types of low fat, fat free, whatever the marketing gimmick is for that dessert, differently than it does natural sugars found in whole foods. And these additional sugars can lead to increased hunger and potential overeating. Overeating is hard, right? It's hard not to overeat. To maintain better control of your blood sugar or your glucose levels, it is advisable to opt for desserts that are more, or choose desserts that are more made with natural sweeteners such as fruit or minimal amounts of unrefined sugar, and to consume them in moderation. By doing so, you can still enjoy the sweet side of life while effectively managing your diabetes. And so there's some great choices for diabetes-friendly desserts, right? We're going to talk about some of the natural stuff, right? So you've got choices. So you can go natural, you can make it at home, you can buy it out, but regardless of what you decide to do, these are some things you need to look at, and these are some ingredients that you need to pay attention to. So number one, pumpkin. I love pumpkin pie. So pumpkin's number one for me. Pumpkins are not only a symbol of the fall season, but they also pack a powerful nutritional punch. They're rich in beta carotene, which we've talked about, guys, in the past, a type of plant compound known as a carotenoid. Once consumed, our bodies can convert beta carotene into vitamin A fat-soluble vitamin that is essential for maintaining healthy vision, immune function, and cell growth. This all ties back to us as diabetes, what benefits us, as diabetics. Moreover, research suggests that a diet high in beta-carotene-rich foods may help reduce the risk of developing certain types of cancer and offer protection against heart disease. So heart disease is a huge problem for diabetics. It's part of the 3 problems that we have, and collectively that's called metabolic syndrome. So you have high blood sugar, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. And heart disease is a result of those things. While pumpkin pie is a beloved dessert, it can be high in carbohydrates, fat, and calories. If you're looking for a healthy alternative, consider these chocolate chip pumpkin bars. You can make those. They typically contain about 15 grams of carbohydrates and 4 grams of fat per serving, making them a more nutritious choice. So that's an option for you. Chocolate chip pumpkin bars. You can look up the recipe. It's all over the internet. And just try to make it as healthy as possible. So if pumpkin pie is non-negotiable for you, there's still ways to make it healthier. So there are times when you can make those healthy choices and go with the alternative, and there are times where you have no healthy choice. So, and you're still going to choose to eat the perceived bad dessert. There are ways to do that as well, right? Such as this pumpkin pie. So for instance, you can remove the crust, which can be high in calories and fat. Additionally, you could use egg substitute in place of eggs and evaporated milk. Skim milk, by the way, in place of sweetened condensed milk. So we don't want sweetened condensed milk. I used to love that as a kid, but as an adult, you can't have it as a diabetic. These simple substitutes can reduce the calorie, fat, and carbohydrate content of the pie itself. And of course, that's if you have control of the pie. If you're making the pie, you can do that. So with yogurt, here's another one. The consumption of milk and milk products, including yogurt, has been linked to a reduced risk of several serious health conditions in adults. These include heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure. Well, that statement right there just tells you, just has metabolic syndrome all over it, right? So that means yogurt must be a miracle thing for us diabetics. So something for you to pay attention to. This is particularly due to the fact that most yogurts are excellent sources of high quality protein, which is essential for maintaining and building muscle mass and for supporting overall health. Moreover, studies have shown that regular yogurt consumption is associated with a more balanced diet, suggesting that it could play a role in promoting healthier eating habits. If you're looking to reduce fat and calories in your diet, yogurt can be a useful substitute in many recipes. For instance, if you can swap butter, heavy cream, or vegetable oil for an equal amount of plain yogurt when baking, that would be a great idea if you can do it. Similarly, you can replace 1 cup of buttermilk with 2/3 cups of plain yogurt. That's another great idea. This simple substitution can significantly cut down on the fat and calorie content of your baked goods while still providing the benefits of yogurt's high quality protein. Yogurt, particularly the plain variety, can be a valuable addition to your diet if you have diabetes. That's what I have. I have plain, unsweetened. I don't have anything in it. There are countless ways to make plain yogurt more appealing, such as by sprinkling pecans in it, cinnamon, or adding your favorite sugar substitute like stevia. I don't do any of that stuff. I just have my Greek yogurt the way it is because it's high in protein and it's good the way it is. Or I have it in my post-workout shake that I make, or smoothie that I make, which I just finished having because I just worked out. So this way you can enjoy the benefits of yogurt without the added sugar often found in flavored varieties. So stevia is a good choice for that. If you're craving, something sweet, consider opting for a strawberry cheesecake yogurt parfait instead of the traditional cheesecake dessert. And I would probably agree with that because I'm a cheesecake lover. I love New York style cheesecake and I love the glaze on top of it, which is not the best for me. I can attest and tell you that every time I eat cheesecake, especially in the evening, my fasting blood sugar is awful the next morning. Doesn't matter what I do. But I love New York style cheesecake. Does that mean I don't eat it? No, that means that I just eat it every now and then. So this choice has significantly fewer calories, this parfait that we discussed, and fat, of course. At 220 calories, 29 grams of carbohydrates, and 7 grams of fat, it's much more a balanced choice than a slice of strawberry cheesecake. Like I just mentioned, I love the New York style cheesecake with the glaze, the strawberry glaze on top. So this doesn't mean you have to give up your favorite desserts entirely, but by making smart substitutions like this, you can enjoy them in a healthier way. So apples. Now, apples as a diabetic is one of those things, I think it's controversial because you read some places that apples aren't good for you and some places they say they're because they have sugar. But what people neglect to understand is apples, they have pectin and they have fiber. So when it comes to creating diabetes friendly desserts, the choice of ingredients play a crucial role. So apples themselves, nutrient-rich produce such as fresh apples, cranberries, berries, sweet potatoes can provide natural sweetness and built-in fiber, as we discussed, making them excellent choices for those watching their carbohydrate intake. By employing these ingredients creatively, you can successfully incorporate desserts into a balanced and health-conscious diabetes meal plan. For instance, apples are a popular fruit that people with diabetes might assume should be avoided due to their carbohydrate content, like we just discussed, but they're good for you. They're good for you if you're diabetic. However, the key to enjoying apples as part of a diabetes-friendly diet is portion control. So, yeah, apples are packed with essential nutrients and can be considered one of nature's perfect sweeteners. A single small apple, which is about 4 ounces, contains about 60 calories and only 15 grams of carbohydrates, making them a relatively low-carb fruit option. To illustrate this further, consider the example of apple pie, which I love. In fact, I've got 3 or 4 slices of apple pie frozen in the freezer so I can have it whenever I want to have them. I don't get rid of it. I just put it away, freeze it, and I thaw it out later on when I want it. So let's go back to this apple pie. It typically contains about 45 grams of carbohydrates per slice. A more friendly alternative would be an apple crisp, which I also love, so I would agree with that, which is approximately 170 calories, 26 grams of carbs or carbohydrates, and 7 grams of fat per serving. By placing the apples and other ingredients in an individual size souffle dish and baking them without a pie crust, you can significantly reduce the total carbohydrate content while still enjoying a delicious and satisfying dessert. This simple swap can make desserts a more manageable part of a diabetes-friendly meal plan. So have you also considered cranberries? I have a bunch of cranberries in the cupboard, so I put that in my stuff as well. I like to put it in steel cut oatmeal or other desserts like that. So for cranberries, they're truly remarkable fruit boasting an impressive range of health benefits. They're an excellent source of vitamin C, providing a powerful antioxidant punch that can help strengthen our immune system. Additionally, cranberries are a good source of dietary fiber, which is essential for digestive health. They also provide vitamin E, a fat-soluble vitamin that plays a crucial role in the maintenance of healthy skin, eyes, and the immune function. One of the most notable health benefits of cranberries is their potential to help prevent urinary tract infections. This is attributed to the presence of unique plant-based compounds in cranberries which can prevent certain bacteria from adhering to the urinary tract walls, which allows you to flush it out. Instead of opting for cranberry sauce with your dinner, consider a healthier alternative like a cranberry rice pudding. This choice can help you manage your carbohydrate intake as it typically contains about 131 calories, 27 grams of carbohydrates, and less than 1 gram of fat per serving. Alternatively, guys, if you prefer to include cranberries with your dinner, consider making your own cranberry relish using fresh whole cranberries. And to make cranberry relish, you can look those kinds of things up on the internet. I mean, there are tons of recipes out there. You just need to make sure you substitute things like sugar with stevia and use a common sense approach to blood sugar management and stabilization. And this can be a healthier choice than canned jelly cranberry sauce, which often contains added sugar. So by doing so, you can enjoy the rich taste and health benefits of cranberries in a more nutritious way. And as with any dessert, opting for a smaller portion can also help manage your carbohydrate and sugar intake. So let's go to sweet potatoes, right? So sweet potatoes are a funny thing to talk about because potatoes for themselves aren't the best for us, depending on unless you know what type of potatoes to have. And if you don't, I have a video about that. So it's something about spuds, and spuds is just another word for potato in different parts of the world. Take a look at that video. Let me know what your thoughts are. There are potatoes you can eat, but now we're going to talk about sweet potatoes. So sweet potatoes are a powerhouse of nutrients packed with an abundance of vitamin C, calcium, potassium, and beta carotene. You see something here, guys? Vitamin C, potassium, and beta carotene. All huge, all great for diabetics. This vibrant root vegetable is not only delicious, but offers a range of health benefits. The low glycemic, or the GI index of sweet potatoes, means that they can help regulate blood sugar levels. Yeah, the GI index for sweet potatoes is right on the borderline between low and high in my opinion. So you just have to be careful. It's not going to be the best thing in the world, but it's not the worst thing in the world either. Studies suggest that a diet rich in foods with a low GI like sweet potatoes can help reduce postprandial hypoglycemia, which is an increase in blood sugar levels after you eat, typically checked around 2 hours after, right? And improve insulin resistance in individuals with diabetes. Instead of indulging in sweet potato pie, which I love, which can contain a high amount of carbohydrates, consider a healthier alternative like a spiced sweet potato casserole. So these kinds of things that I'm talking about are just alternatives. You can look up the recipes for these things online. They're everywhere. This dish provides the same delightful flavor as sweet potato pie, but significantly fewer carbohydrates and fat. Each serving typically has around 10 grams of carbs, 7 grams of fat, making it a more balanced choice for those watching their dietary intake. However, if sweet potatoes or sweet potato pie is your preferred choice, meaning you have no other choice and that's what you want to go with, you can still make some healthier adjustments. For instance, you can opt for a smaller portion to help manage your carbohydrate and sugar intake. Additionally, consider removing the crust and substituting eggs and condensed milk with egg substitute and evaporated skim milk, respectively. So get rid of the crust, the eggs, and the condensed milk, and use evaporated milk, skim milk. These choices can help reduce the overall calories, fat, and carbohydrates in your dessert, allowing you to enjoy your favorite treat or treats or desserts in a more nutritious way. So if all else fails, guys, what do I do? So this is what I do. So when I say if all else fails, if you're home, you have control, right? You can make this and you can make these desserts yourself if that's what you choose to do. But if you're busy or you're out at a restaurant or somewhere, all else has failed because you have no control. You don't know what's in the desserts that they have, but you still want dessert after dinner, right? No good choices, and you still want to have those typical desserts that most people have. One thing you can do is follow my blood sugar lowering video to see how to make my miracle drink to help keep your blood sugar down while eating a normal dessert that would normally spike your blood sugar past the moon. So yes, my blood sugar lowering drink, here it is. It's always here. I keep it with me at all times. But more importantly is I have it before I eat something. So I usually actually drink this with all of my meals, whether they are safe diabetic choices or not. So I always have an advantage, even if I don't, have many choices to choose from. And I choose a dessert that's not the right diabetic friendly dessert. I still have this to help offset the carb or the blood sugar spike that's going to hit me. And make sure you're not eating desserts late in the evening because you want to go, you want good fasting blood sugar levels in the morning. So my rule of thumb is I intermittent fast. So I only eat from 10:30 in the morning to 6:30 in the afternoon. I do not eat past that. So if it's past 6:30, it just doesn't happen. Sometimes I want dessert and it's past 6:30 and I look at the time and say, oh, it's 7 o'clock. I'll just have to have it tomorrow or another day. So check your fasting blood sugar levels in the morning as well, guys, because this is how I've learned some of these techniques that I'm sharing with you guys. And do it on an empty stomach and see how you did, because I've done this multiple times. So I found out that I couldn't have the New York style cheesecake because it was bad for me, but I didn't know for sure until I've done it multiple times throughout some period of time, and then I knew for sure, and now I'm able to share this information with you guys. Doesn't matter what I do, I can have as much of this stuff as I want. my blood sugar is going to be awful the next morning, my fasting blood sugar. So these are things you need to know. Nothing's going to solve your problem immediately. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, give me some comments. I'd like to know how I'm doing here. Am I providing information that's useful to you, that's a little bit different from everyone else on YouTube? And is this providing value to you as a diabetic, where you're seeing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that, you know, it's not all doom and gloom, oh, you're diabetic, it's the worst thing ever. No, it's not the worst thing ever. How you manage it determines whether it's the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. And you can do it because I was able to do it, and there's nothing special about me, but there's something special about you. So I believe in you. And by the way, my sources, not many sources for this video, but there are a couple sources listed at the bottom of the description below. So if you want to research any of this information further, please feel free to do so. I welcome that all the time. I'm going to get on with my day, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.